This season, we've been talking about the crushing cost of healthcare in our Money versus Medicine series. Medical debt is the #1 cause of bankruptcy here in the U.S. But while millions of Americans are struggling to pay their medical bills, what they don't realize is there's an entire industry profiting off of their strife.
It can be sickening, a surprise medical bill that adds up to tens of thousands of dollars.
Surprise billings has left some patients with thousands of dollars of unexpected and unjustified charges.
America's medical debt is a disaster. The economic damage it creates is beyond measure.
Medical debt is destroying our country. It's going to break our backs.
So you and I, as a citizen, are only that one accident and one illness away from financial obliteration. We owe easily $1 trillion at this very moment.
About 800 billion of that trillion is debt that is owed by people that don't have the ability to pay. I mean, they're poor. It's not right.
This is what we call a chain of pain. What happens is that you get sick. You go to a hospital, the bill arrives for $5,000. You don't have $5,000.
The collection agencies are hired to collect on your debt. If you don't respond to them, it may get sold to a debt buyer.
The debt buyer will buy your $5,000 debt for as little as $10. You are nothing more than an asset that needs to be turned into money.
So they will now try to collect 100% from you, the patient.
They will send you letters, call you, they'll take you to court. You find your wages being garnished.
Debt buyers will continue to collect until they've made their profit.
They don't tell you that they want the $10 that they paid for your $5,000 debt. They want the full $5,000, and that does outrage me. It should outrage you too.
The authors of End Medical Debt and co-founders of the nonprofit RIP Medical Debt, Jerry Ashton and Craig Antico, join us to shed light on this secret world of medical debt buying. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here and, quite frankly, highlighting something that so many people are naive to. And Jerry, I'll start with you, and I would almost ask, why do hospitals sell medical debt? I suspect I know why, but why, but also how many, if not, are all of them doing it in terms of selling their medical debt?
Well, hospitals are like any other business. They have to keep their doors open. They have to keep their lights on. And your medical bill has to be paid so that that can happen for them. So it's only logical that they're stewards of their hospital's welfare.
30% of hospitals sell their debt.
Okay, so about 30%.
Yeah.
So what happens then is the hospital, if they're not able to collect, they sell it. And can you explain then who's buying that debt and what information gets sent off? And then, of course, you're a medical consumer, and all of a sudden someone owns your debt and has nothing to do with the hospital.
Yeah, there's a disconnect there. The money gets exchanged from an investor. These investors are financed by banks.
Okay.
So they'll get 80% to 90% of that money that they're buying the debt with from a bank. They just have to collect about 3 times the amount that they paid. So if they pay 5%, they only have to collect 15%. They buy it for 1%, they only have to collect 3%.
So they're buying this debt at maybe pennies on the dollar. So in other words, I could go to the hospital and I want to become this guy. I say, look, I will buy $100 million of your debt, and I'll give you $2 million for that $100 million.
That's what happens. All you do is you figure out as an investor, how much do I imagine I'm going to collect on this? And then divide it by 3. That's practically the way that they make money.